He insists that you call him Hall of Famer whenever you introduce him. He's Michael Wilbon from Pardon the Interruption, covering the NBA, joining us from Milwaukee. Hey, Hall of Famer, how are you today?
Okay, first of all, he does not insist.
Oh, you don't?
That.
Oh,
As
Fritzy, you said Wilbon wanted to be called a Hall of Famer.
That's what I thought, but he's not like that. So that's what maybe it's a miscommunication.
Under the bus just now. Oh my goodness. No, don't insist upon that. I'm close to Milwaukee, Dan. I'm 88 miles away from Milwaukee in Chicago.
Fritzy, I gave you two things.
Oh, for two.
I said, how does Wilbon want to be introduced, and where's he joining us from?
I'm not going to make the All-Star game this year.
I was just talking about my vacation where I went to Montana fly fishing. Do you got like an adventure vacation you've ever taken?
No. Now, Fritzy just asked me that. He said, "What dangerous thing have you done?" I'm like, nothing ever. I mean, no. I've been to Montana. But I've not. And if I went there today, Dan, I would go with golf clubs, trying to find that same course that those guys played, last week. But no, there's no danger. I've never been fly fishing. Went fishing once when I was 11 years old with my Uncle Bill in Chicago, and vowed never to go fishing again. And I've kept that vow.
Well, you're not an outdoorsman like me. You're not a man.
Okay. I'll take your word for that. What, golf is somehow less than fishing?
Yes.
How many times are you okay? I've known you a long time. We've known each other a long time. I have never heard you tell fly fishing stories. We've never done that.
Once every 20 years, I do it, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah. The last time I went fly fishing was in British Columbia in 1989.
What made you do it this time?
I had to man up a little bit. I was getting a little soft. You know how you writers used to call us, talking hairdos?
We still do.
Yeah.
Even though
I would love to call you a talking hairdo. You don't got any hair.
That's right.
Yes.
Thankfully, I fall outside that categorization.
Before I get to the Bucks and the Suns, the United States lost to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we care about this as we head into the Olympics with this team? I know there's some guys still playing in the finals, but it's a friendly. But the United States lost to Nigeria in basketball.
Dan, I was here in Chicago 2 nights ago when that game was going on. And I was at the WNBA game, Mystics and the Sky. I wanted to go and see my friend Candace Parker play. And I'm with a bunch of guys who have been sports writers, I think all in TV now, all of whom Jay Adonde, David Aldridge, Mark Spears, Vinny Goodwill, you know the crew, Sean Powell. And we're sitting there and we're monitoring this score. Right? We're monitoring that game. We're at a game and we're going, each guy turns to the other and goes, oh my God, we're losing to Nigeria with 7 minutes left, with 4 minutes left, with 30 seconds left. And then the question from each one of us to the other was, how big a deal is this? Like, should we care about this? Is it a friendly? Is it an exhibition? Is it a warm-up? Is it practice? Is Kevin Durant really playing? And so even as you ticked off the answers, kind of yes, I think it's important because we never even remember how crazy the reporting of the scrimmage loss, the Dream Team lost to like Chris Webber and Grant Hill and Bobby Hurley. And I don't even know who all was on that team. But those guys were the headliners. And we cared about it. And those guys, Jordan, Barkley, Magic, Bird, they wanted us to care because they cared. They cared enough to threaten the lives of those college players. Right? And said, you will be shut out summarily tomorrow, which they essentially did. They cared and they wanted us to care. So using that criteria, Dan, we get what's the care scale? Like, is it a 7? It's not a 9. I'm gonna go better than 5 though. What about you?
Yeah, I'm up there with it, but I think it's really a testament to the rest of the world.
Yes.
That how important basketball is, and you can go back to the Dream Team and what the Dream Team birthed around the world. And I think we've seen that. I think you've seen that with the, players from Europe who come over, the Greek Freak. I don't know what that impact had on him or Luka Doncic. The Joker, like these guys who, probably were young if they were even born and watching that dream team and what that dream team meant, getting videos, getting VHS tapes in these other countries. I mean, the importance of that is not lost on me. So as much as I'd like to say the United States went through the motions, give credit to Nigeria that this really meant something to them.
And Dan, I've been on this crusade that the All-Star game, which has become a complete and utter waste of time, the NBA All-Star game, waste of time. I don't want to see people choosing up sides and going shirts and skins. I don't give a damn about that. The NBA, for some reason, is studiously avoiding having U.S. versus the world. If we had that game, even the last 5 years, okay, just think if we had that game this coming All-Star game, right? Look at the bigs you've got, just the front line. You mentioned Giannis, of course. Embiid, Joker, the MVP of the league. If you just had the three of them and you've got Doncic, who you've already mentioned, and you've got Jamal Murray. Okay, is that a starting five you'd like to see play against an all-star team of U.S. players? Of course it is. And I don't know if the league is embarrassed that the U.S. team, even though the NBA, all those guys belong to that fraternity, why won't they do it? Why won't they do something that you could actually sink your teeth into All-Star Week as opposed to the junk? And it's junk. It's an exhibition of dunking. We already got a dunk contest. Let's see the best in the world, because there's pride. They'd want to do it. If you put those 10 guys out there, those 24 guys out there, they're going to want to win. And the All-Star weekend becomes something valuable instead of the junk that the game is junk. But you look at the testament to the rest of the world, I am 100% with you on that. And look at, again, I just named 5 guys off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Look at all the players that you have coming along, the young Canadian players, in addition to Jamal Murray, the young African players, going back to your question about Nigeria. I think this is a significant development, and I'd like to see it explored more by the NBA.
He's Hall of Famer Michael Wilbon, ESPN's Pardon the Interruption co-host, and, of course, part of ESPN ABC's NBA coverage. Giannis is always interesting. And it's not like he's polarizing. I think people want to make his style polarizing or his star status polarizing. And I always wondered about this. When I watched Wilt Chamberlain play, I never said, gosh, I don't know why he's not taking jumpers. When I watched Shaq, I never said, gosh, he's not taking jumpers. When I watched Kareem, I never said, boy, he doesn't do anything other than a sky hook. Why is it that we can't just, like the Greek Freak can be dominating? I don't need him to shoot a three to keep the defense honest. Ben Simmons has to learn to shoot because he's on the perimeter and he handles the ball. I want the Greek Freak down low, dominating. Like I'm okay with that, Mike.
Every possession. Dan, this means we're old. That, first of all, let's start with that. Let's just declare you and I are.
That's assumed.
We're philosophically aligned completely. So, okay, here, I don't want him shooting threes. I do want him to develop a 14 to 16-foot shot, so the wall they put up, he can do something else other than maybe pick up 2 or 3 offensive fouls a game, trying to crash through it. So that's as far as I go. Otherwise, I am entirely with you. His team's shortcomings to this point are not his fault at all. When you go 42-13 a couple of nights, don't tell me what more that guy needs to do. Somebody else needs to do more. And I think it's polarizing, Dan, because we've got this thing which is fairly attractive otherwise, positionless basketball. Yeah. I do applaud that and the versatility it brings to the game for others. But my God, this guy is a great player. He's a legitimate 2-time MVP. The shortcoming seem to belong more to his coach and his teammates. And I don't need to see him do any more. I need to see him do what he did last night. In fact, when he wanders out there and shoots the three, he hurts his team. His team is less. And this is just dumb. The fact that the Bucks may come out Wednesday night and go out and hoist threes and be down by 18. Because this is what they've done the whole postseason. They play a specific way. It works. It works to the tune of championship level play. And it's just Kendrick Perkins. You could say Kendrick, my man Kendrick, was a bit strong when he said the dumbest team ever in the finals. But Dan, they do things you just can't understand what they're doing because they've proven they can win this way, kicking your butt in the paint with that guy leading the way. Oh, but it's not good enough even for them. So I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't get it, and I think it hurts them.
Well, look, Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday are, they're not guys that you're going to build around, but they need to be complementary figures that I just want Giannis down low. I don't want him handling the ball, bringing it up the floor, because you can set up that wall that Miami did last year in the playoffs. If I have him down low, okay, now what are you going to do? And if Middleton and Holiday hit shots,
yes,
that to me makes them formidable. If everybody stands around for Giannis to dribble down and then try to break through, then you're not getting good basketball. If I put him down low, Ayton's got to guard him. You put him in foul trouble. And then I got Middleton and Holiday who are going to be single covered and maybe at times, left alone. That to me would be, my approach to this for the Milwaukee Bucks.
And that is the approach. I sat with both games in Phoenix. I sat between Isaiah Thomas and Avery Johnson. And, again, I'm sitting with guys who now would be called by the entire basketball world younger than them, old guys. They're only guys who are, great and played with intellect and won championships. And they said exactly what you're saying. I'm waiting for them, knowing basketball the way they do, to say, no, it's okay to do this. And they coached and they're going, oh my God, what is this? Yeah. Why isn't he here? And he's a willing passer, right? And he's a tough guy. He's a legitimate tough guy who doesn't shy away. And so, okay, the free throws could be a problem, and maybe that's a problem late in the game, not last night. But Dan, that's the Milwaukee Bucks conundrum. How are they going to do? What are they going to do Wednesday night, and what are they going to do in what many presume would be a Game 5 Saturday back in Phoenix?
Another thing that I don't understand is, as much as I love watching Devin Booker can disappear on you. And, for a guy who has that Mamba mentality and Kobe was there to mentor him, I just don't see that as much. And, maybe I'm asking too much. But we've seen a guy scored 70 in a game. I expect him to be maybe more consistent in that just pressuring the defense there. And there are times he just sort of floats and gives you a 3 for 15 night.
I think that this is his first time on any stage. His first time. And remember, this is his first time in the playoffs. And I think he's learning still the difference between that level of pressure and becoming that consistent. He had a bad game last night. Although I think what happens is, as great as they are, the level of player above him and more experience, they have bad games too. Yeah. I'm sure LeBron has had a bad game or two in a series. I think I want Booker to have, out of a 6-game series, I want him to have 3 great games. I think he's done that. Now, last night he had a bad game. And now here's what we got to see. The star bounces back. When Kobe told him famously as he wears the tattoo to be legendary, this is when you create your legend. This is when you build it. Now, he did it against the Lakers. He did it against Denver. He even did it against the Clippers. Multiple games where he was great. Yeah. Now, he did it in games 1 and 2. He didn't do it in game 3, obviously. If Devin Booker is going to be that guy that you are talking about, and I believe he can be, then he needs to do that in game 4. And maybe 5 or 4 and 6. He's got to do that 2 more times to get to be the best player on the floor. Chris Paul's the most important player on the floor wearing his jersey, that jersey. But he's got to do it to get them to hoist that trophy. And then he's sort of fulfilling what Kobe thought he could be.
The Lakers in the offseason, LeBron's a great recruiter, but I don't know how much maneuverability they have to be able to recruit. If you're the Lakers, what would be priority number 1?
Well, you got to figure out, and I don't know if you can figure this out, but the priority would be, how is Anthony Davis going to consistently contribute? And look, I love Anthony Davis, right? His game, who he is. I'm predisposed. He's a Chicago boy like I am. I love Anthony Davis. But when people say top 5 player, I'm like, I'm not going there, because I can name 5 I'm going to take ahead of him. Now, he's in that next group, and there's no sin in that. My God, he's been a championship player already. But you got to figure out what you're going to get from him and how frequently. Because I don't believe, Dan, and I don't know what you believe about this, I don't believe these injuries and people missing all this time, I don't believe these are one-offs. I believe this is where the league is. I believe they ought to go to a 65-game schedule, which they're not going to do. How reliable can he be going forward with LeBron?
He's got to get in shape, Mike.
I agree. So you got to address that. And if you come up with an answer you think is satisfactory, if you're the Lakers brass and you're LeBron, okay. But if that's not your answer, then what do? Who's your second guy? There's all this buzz out there now. I'm around, when you're in NBA circles, my God, the rumors about the NBA trades, acquisitions, free agency are the juiciest ones. Most of them make no sense. But the Lakers have so little flexibility that they can't just go and get somebody. They're going to have to either make a deal, be very creative, get Anthony Davis. Can Anthony Davis play 72 games next year and be Anthony Davis? Well, that hasn't happened like all that often. So I think determining that to the degree that you can is the place that the Lakers have to start.
Would you trade Anthony Davis for Damian Lillard?
I knew that was going to come up. I love that. That's one of those I was talking about. Okay. My first inclination is yes. But where do you get then? Okay, so let's say you got Dame and LeBron out there. Do you have size? Do you have, I mean, wings who are 6'8" and 6'9" seem to be growing on trees.
Yeah.
And again, all we got to do is go back and watch Nigeria beat the U.S. in that friendly. So where do you get that? Like they don't have that otherwise. And it seems to me that dynamic. I mean, LeBron is that, but you need a couple. You can't just go say, well, Paul George would be a great fit as a 2.5 or a 3. Let's get him. And you can't, they don't have the money. I was told all week, stop. They can't do what you're maybe suggesting.
What about Porzingis for Ben Simmons?
Well, is LeBron at this point, we know LeBron has been patient enough. God, the years that LeBron led teams to the finals that didn't have anywhere near what you're talking about suggests, okay, LeBron is going to work with these guys. At this stage, is he going to be patient enough? Porzingis plays like 49. He plays fewer games than Anthony Davis.
Yeah, no. But if you said Philly and Dallas, now I don't like it just because Luka's always got the ball, and like what's the complementary player who can play with Luka?
Dame. Not complimentary, but seriously, a guy who can shoot it. Dame's unfair. Okay, so next level guy, a top 20 player.
Okay, CJ McCollum.
Well, now and see, we know CJ doesn't have to have the ball.
Yeah. Because
we've seen Dame have the ball, and that worked to at least a degree of the conference final. Here's what's got to happen for them, though, Dan, real quickly. Luka's got to be more mature. Luka right now is he's not glorified. He's Rasheed Wallace in terms of impact. Obviously, he has the ball. He has more diverse skills and all that. But he's out of control. He is completely immature on the floor. He undermined his own effort in that series they should have won because he's screaming at the other bench because he's up 30-9. Yeah. He is unbelievably immature, and they got to fix that. And Rick Carlisle people don't leave when a player is great as Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
But they left. So something else has to be done there. I don't think it's just player acquisition, but I'm kind of with you there on who he needs.
Hey, great to talk to you. Congrats on the Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Tell Todd never introduce me that way ever again.
Sir Michael Wilbon joining us here. Have you been knighted yet?
If I can be like Sir Nick, I'll be knighted. Hey, can't you come to a game? Can't you bring the whole party to a game like old times?
No.
Come on. You're turning into Tony being in the attic for the rest of your life. It was fun having you at games.
You know what, Mike? When the Bulls are back, then I'm bringing the guys to Chicago. How's that?
There's your guy. There's your guy for Luka, Zach LaVine, although I don't want to lose Zach from what they're trying to do in Chicago. So I strike that.
Thank you, Mike. Great to talk to you again, buddy.
Man.
That's Michael Wilbon, ESPN, pardon the interruption, co-host, and part of ESPN ABC NBA coverage. Take a break. You got your phone calls coming up, but first, it's our play of the day. That's next here on the Dan Patrick Show.